We are now going to start the press conference by Minister IWAYA. It's a new place. Due to the office renovations of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, for a while, the press conferences will be held at this provisional press room starting today. We also take this opportunity to introduce a new back panel. It looks a little small, but design is not bad. I hope you will familiarize with this. There are 3 points I'd like to mention at the outset. One is my visit to Kuwait. I will be visiting Kuwait from the 31st of August to the 3rd of September. While in Kuwait, I will attend the second Japan GCC Foreign Ministers meeting, which will be held with the Gulf Cooperation Council or GCC, which is made of 6 Gulf countries. And on this occasion, I also plan to hold the Foreign Ministers meeting with Kuwait, which is the presidency for GCC this year, and with other foreign ministers of GCC. And through this occasion, including Japan GCC EPA, I hope to hold discussions of cooperation between Japan and GCC, cooperation with GCC countries in areas such as energy and other major regional and international issues, including the situation in the Middle East.
Next, Foreign Ministers meeting with Serbia. Today, I had a meeting with the Foreign Minister Đurić of Serbia. Recognizing Serbia as a key country in the West Balkan, we agreed to further develop bilateral relations, including economic fields, and cooperate each other in dealing with the development of international situations. Lastly, 2+2 meeting between Australia and Japan. On September 5th, there will be the 12th 2+2 meeting between Japan and Australia. On behalf of Japan, myself and Defense Minister Nakatani, and Vice Minister Defense Minister Mounds, and Foreign Minister Wan for Australia will attend. As the surrounding security environment, I believe that there's going to be the special strategic partnership is going to be strengthened so that further strengthening of the security relations will be achieved. At the same time, with the Ms. Warren, there's going to be the foreign minister meeting, and so that there's going to be a further discussion about bilateral relations and the regional situation. And that is all from me as the initial statement.
If you have any questions, please raise your hand and move on to the microphone after appointed. Aikawa-san from Kyodo Tsushin. Thank you. I'm Ayukawa from Kyodo News. You mentioned about your visit to Kuwait. I have a question about that. So you're visiting the Middle East, but you're only going to Kuwait, one of the Middle East countries. What is the reason for that? The current situation in the Middle East, we have a focus on Gaza situation and also the nuclear issue of Iran. Those are major issues. In particular, UK, France, and Germany started procedures to resume sanctions against Iran at the United Nations. And relations with Israel is another point. And you have repeated telephone meetings with the foreign minister of Iran, but you're not going to visit Israel and Iran. What is the reason for that? There is no particular reason. Of course, the situation of Iran is something that we are watching cautiously. Among the GCC countries, there are countries who serve as intermediary, and of a second Japan GCC Foreign Ministers meeting, issues relevant to Iran, Israel, and the Gaza situation. I plan to have good discussions about the situation in the Middle East. And also, Iran is continuing to take contact with Israel, so to solve this issue, Japan intends to play its role to solve this situation, and if is needed, depending on the situation, I plan to visit the site. And the GCC countries are further playing important roles in such matters. So situation in Gaza, and including the nuclear issue of Iran and the major regional issues, it is extremely important to talk with these countries. On this occasion, I want to further strengthen our cooperation.
Next question, Baba-san. This is Baba of Nikkei Shimbun. With regard to North Korea relationship, Kim Jong-un is going to participate in the 80th anniversary of the victory over Japan. This is going to be the after 6 years, and to visit Beijing, it is a rare opportunity. And how do you see the current situation with North Korea's activities? The North Korea, Russia, and China, with regard to those three countries' relations, we have been paying attention to the situation in those countries. As far as our country is concerned, I think I will refrain from commenting on specific matters. But at the same time, when it comes to Russian invasion into Ukraine, is something that is related to the overall security in the Indo-Pacific. And on top of that, with regard to Russia, North Korea, as military cooperation will further aggravate the situation in Ukraine, and it will have negative impact on the regional security situation surrounding us. It is a serious development between Japan and China with regard to the situation in Ukraine, including the meeting with the Foreign Minister Won. We had continued the discussion. So going forward, we will continue to ask China to play a responsible role. In particular, that through the past diplomatic efforts, we still have more things to solve when it comes to the relations with China, but there seems to be a gradual development, and therefore, overall trend needs to be evaluated going forward.
Next question, Uemura-san from Yomiuri Shimbun. Thank you. Uemura from Yomiuri Shimbun. Relevant to the previous question, the military parade on the 3rd of September, this parade, Chinese government is celebrating the 80th anniversary of victory of a war of resistance against Japan, which may enhance anti-Japanese sentiment. Indonesia president intends to attend, and that may affect the awareness of a history among the countries with close relations with Japan. And under such a situation, what diplomatic policy do you plan to pursue? Are you going to strengthen your approach to other countries? The attendance to the ceremony organized by China is a matter between third countries. So I refrain from directly making comments on that. But on top of that, needless to say, Japan is determined not to repeat the devastation of a war in the last 80 years. Japan has followed its path as a peace-loving country ever since the war to make a peace-loving nation, placing importance on freedom, democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. And we believe there is sufficient understanding of that through our diplomatic efforts. And on this position, we have repeatedly stressed this to China as well, and through various occasions, we have been communicating this to the international community. So I believe we have good understanding by the international community. Thank you.
TBS Osaki-san. This is Osaki. Now, situation in Gaza. 22nd, that the United Nations officially announced the outbreak of famine in the Gaza Strip, excluding the United States. 14 countries released a joint statement for the criticism of the situation. What kind of a take are you supposed to have on this issue? As has been pointed out, on August 22nd, Gaza City and the surrounding areas, that the shortage of food is a serious situation equivalent to the outbreak of famine. So this kind of devastating humanitarian crisis needs to be immediately dealt with. As far as our country is concerned, we would like to ask Israel to put an end to this humanitarian crisis. In addition to that, the protection of international law needs to be further strengthened. Under these circumstances, as far as our Japanese government is concerned, on August 20th, the WFP, through WFP, as part of the food aid, 500 million yen grants were announced going forward in close cooperation with the related countries and the organizations. We would like to continue with the sincere acts and to promote the humanitarian aid. We will continue our diplomatic efforts.
Next, Chiba-san from GG Press. Chiba from GG Press. About the Japan-Australia 2+2. Currently, there's a next frigate plan and also MOUs about evacuation of Australian in case of emergencies in other countries. So what is the current situation of Japan-Australia 2+2? As I mentioned at the outset, at these 2+2, take into consideration the 50th year of signing the basic treaty of friendship and cooperation between Japan and Australia next year, we plan to further discuss about strengthening cooperation in various security and defense between the two countries. Security environment surrounding Japan is becoming more severe, so I also intend to discuss about the strategic environment of the region. 2+2 is going to be held just 1 year after the previous 2+2, which was held in September last year. Based on the advancements of cooperation during the last 1 year, I want to further strengthen cooperation between the two countries in a variety of areas, including defense equipment. There were advancements made. So the special strategic partnership between Japan and Australia, I intend to further strengthen, and that will be the purpose of 2+2.
Next question, Asian News International. Asia News International from India. There's the summit meeting to be scheduled between the two countries. And I would like to ask a question about the bilateral relationship, including the local governments, Yamanashi or Tokushima Prefecture, for example. They are trying to have positive relations with India. So those positive aspects. On the other hand, for example, President Trump's tariff measures. We don't know how the negotiation is going on between the two countries. Under these circumstances, if it is prolonged, it would have an impact on the Indian economy, negative impact. Under these circumstances, if this kind of situation is prolonged, it may have negative impact on a Quad or a FOIP. It is likely to be expected. Therefore, how do you see the outlook of the overall development? As has been pointed out, India is an important member of Quad. and then the largest country in terms of the population around the world with a rapid economic development. Therefore, Japan-India bilateral relationship should be further strengthened and through the summit between the two countries this time around. So under these circumstances, as you have already mentioned, the U.S. and tariff measures and the related measures, how they are going to play out. In fact, we continue to pay attention to these developments. How the impact is going to be, we have to closely monitor so that we can take appropriate actions. With regard to the interactions with the Indian government, they are supposed to be diplomatic interactions, so I will refrain from going into the details. That said, on different fronts and at different levels, we have been engaged in close dialogue. And I hope that you will understand the position the government takes on this matter. And I'm going to attend the summit meeting scheduled for today. With regard to the content, I have to refrain from prejudging the outcome, but at the summit meeting, all different issues are going to be up for discussion.
Next question, Yomiuri Shimbun, Uemura-san. Uemura from Yomiuri Shimbun. About North Korean situation or policy against North Korea. At the U.S. ROK summit, the South Korean President Lee Jae-myung called on President Trump to hold face-to-face talks with a North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and President Trump expressed his desire to hold a meeting this year. I believe Japan and South Korea also discussed how to respond to North Korea. Will the Japanese government support realization of the U.S.-North Korea summit, or will Japan continue to call for talks between the leaders of Japan and North Korea, as it has previously mentioned? What is your future policy towards North Korea? It's not a matter of which has priority. With North Korea, the issues of nuclear weapons, missile, and abduction, to resolve those issues, we have to look for the best pathway. With regards to the talks between United States and North Korea, I would like to refrain from making any comments based on assumptions, but the issues of abduction, nuclear and missile development, to resolve those issues, United States and ROK and international society, we have to cooperate with these states. It's essential for us to do so. So going forward, the government tries to continue with close relations and communicate with the United States and South Korea. And Prime Minister Ishiba, to resolve issues between Japan and North Korea, has mentioned that there must be frank talks between the two leaders. And based on the feelings of a Prime Minister, we have been approaching North Korea through a variety of routes. To resolve comprehensively the issues of abduction, nuclear, and missiles, we will continue to consider continuously what is the most effective method and take our responses.
Any other questions? Ayuka of Kyodo Press. This is a question about the politics within the LDP. I think there was a similar question raised to you during your visit to foreign countries. Once again, there's going to be the issue about the front-loading and the presidential election of LDP. There's going to be the approval. There are going to be the request letters to be made, which are signed by these members. There is going to be some voice criticizing this kind of action, but at the same time, when it comes to the leadership of the LDP, that there is an argument that if senior members, officers are going and to ask for the presidential election, they have to resign. What is your take on this? Well, this is a question about the politics, and so I would like to touch upon that, not in the capacity of the foreign minister. Now, based on the party rules, there will be a lot of discussions on the way, and then there's going to be a conclusion and to be reached, which is extremely important in my view. Currently, based on the party rules, there's going to be the election and management and committee is being held. And then based on the approved rules, there's going to be the procedure that is underway. That's my understanding. Therefore, whether that is to be considered as too much politicized or not, that is not how I take the situation. And as far as the government is concerned, so far as we are working as the minister, we have to play the role that is designated by the Prime Minister. That is supposed to be the most important responsibility I have to deliver. And if there are going to be other decisions to be made, I think there should be appropriate actions to follow. And that is something that should be taken for granted. Thank you very much, and that is the end of the press conference.